Years can pass through thoughts sometimes of all the things you've done. And sometimes, yeah, you wonder if the years they ran too long. A chitter chat, you're looking back at the history chasing you. You're saying, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Reading you the news. Time to make my getaway. Time to trim the sails. Time to lift that anchor up and dive into the gale. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, breaking waves all run. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, breaking waves all run. Feelings that are sticking to the meaning of my name. Research believes the feelings freaking refuse to go away. A chitter chat, you're looking back at the history chasing you. They're saying, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Reading you the news. Time to make my getaway. Time to trim the sails. Time to lift that anchor up and dive into the gale. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the breaking waves all run. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the breaking waves all run. Look out through the window at the years have all passed through. Things I've done, things I've seen to help me all get through. Still my feet call on me to keep me on the shore. Now I say it loud and clear, no more, no more, no more. No more. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the breaking waves all run. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the power big and gone. Say, blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the breaking waves all run. Blow, wind, move my ship along. Blow, wind, move my ship, make the power big and gone.
All right, let's do it.
Everybody ready?
We go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Sunshine greets your eyes as the birds fly low in Puertecitos. The stony pier it whispers clear. There ain't no fun to worry here. The breeze is nice, the water fine. The balmy air soothes your worries go. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, down right here in Puertecitos. Here, right here, right here, on the shores of Mexico. Here, right here, right here in Puertecitos. And fish are jumping in the sea. The midday heat is hot and sweet. You're looking out, you're looking in. You fall in love as the tide rolls in. The breeze is nice, the water fine. The balmy air, it soothes your mind. Every wave, it seems to say, but it's time for you to play. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, clear your mind, let your worries go. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, down right here in Puertecitos. Sometimes you gotta get away. Come on, let's make it today. Sometimes you gotta go to the shores of Mexico. Sometimes you gotta get away. Come on, let's make it today. Sometimes you gotta go to the shores of Mexico. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, clear your mind, let your worries go. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, down right here in Puertecitos. Oh, on the shores of Mexico, down right here in Puertecitos. Here, right here, right here, on the shores of Mexico. Here, right here, right here, in Puertecitos. The beat fires me up. Pump jump, the rhythm of love. Said rhythm, it's what you live for. Hi-hat, what you think of that? Running 16, baby, what a dream. Said rhythm, it's what you live for. I love to dance, puts me in a trance, makes me want to get to know you. I love to dance, puts me in a trance, it makes me want to get to know you. Baby, I hear the rhythm in your ear, the way you move, groove, dancing like you do. Said rhythm, it's what you live for. Baby, I hear the rhythm in your ear, the way you move, groove, dancing like you do. Said rhythm, it's what you live for. You love to dance, puts you in a trance, it makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. You love to dance, put you in a trance, makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. You love to dance, put you in a trance, it makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. You love to dance, put you in a trance, makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. I love sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm knows me. Ain't no prison that sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm knows me. Ain't no prison that sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm knows me. Ain't no prison that sets me drums, the rhythm of love, said rhythm, it's what you live for. Hi-hat, what you think of that? Running 16, baby, what a dream, says rhythm, it's what you live for. You love to dance, puts you in a trance, it makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. Love to dance, put you in a trance. It makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. I love to dance, put you in a trance. Makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. You love to dance, put you in a trance. Makes you wanna grab your man and say, I wanna get to know you. Ain't no prison that sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm loves me. Ain't no prison that sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm loves me. Ain't no prison that sets me free. I love rhythm, the rhythm loves me. Ain't no prison that sets me free. Free sets me free, sets me free, sets me free.
Beauty. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Sounds of Nashville Podcast. I'm joined by Michael Paz. Thank you for coming out.
It's great to be here. It's a real pleasure.
So, to get to know you a little bit better, what got you into music, into writing?
Though I didn't have a great background, one of the gifts that my dad gave me is that he played classical music all the time. And so I was listening to music at the youngest of ages, and I just loved it. And then the other thing that is kind of common with most people my age was that when they were listening to the Beatles, they all wanted to be musicians. So I kind of dreamed about being in a band at the youngest of age, but I always was writing and singing melodies, and every time that I realized that every time that I took piano lessons or any kind of musical instrument to learn how to play, the teacher would have the most difficult time with me, because no sooner had I played a chord that I was already singing a melody or writing a song alongside that. And so she was getting me to do my scales and everything, and I would do the scales, and I think, oh, that's a great, Dorian chord and why not? Oh, and then Aeolian. Oh, that I'll write, a piece with that. So that was just an instinctive feeling of just having a great joy in the creative process at the youngest of ages. So that would probably be my origin.
Then when you write a song, what comes first? Do you start with keys, guitar, or a melody, lyrics?
Yeah, so majority of the time it's playing a chord progression. So the rhythm and the chord comes first, and then I write the lyrics that fit within the style or the mood of that. But what's interesting is that one of the first times or first experiences I've ever had is somebody asked me to write a song with a particular kind of idea. So then that was a kind of an experience. It was just happened like a year ago. That was an experience where based on the subject matter of the song and what was asked to be created, that had a whole impact on even just the way that I was writing the chords and the structure of the song. But majority of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I'm writing the chords, and I'm using either guitar or piano.
So what song was that?
That song was "We Belong Together." So it was actually a song for a wedding.
Yeah.
And they gave me a subject matter, which initially was a challenge for me to think about, but then became a lot of fun to write. They had this whole notion of coffee and cream and how coffee and cream go well together, and then that being an analogy of relationship of how we blend well together. And so I then created a song, for that, and it was a lot of fun.
Then you have a record label now.
Yes.
So independent record label.
Yes.
Based out of Gallatin?
Yes, based out of Gallatin. It's called RCSQ, which stands for Rhythm and Chords, Stories and Questions. And then alongside that as well, in the Rhythm and Chords, Stories and Questions is the genre, which is Eclectic Roots Groove, which is a kind of, under RCSQ Records, it's trademarked as a trademark of the company. And it just explains the style. Interesting, listening to your music and listening to music at the Blue House Band and other artists, that there's this, I would call, a new school of music that's coming together in Nashville, because the standard structure of music has been basically predominantly country, but now what you have is a lot of Nashville becoming the capital of music in the United States completely. If you're looking at publishing, if you're looking at songwriting of any genre or any style. So all these different musicians and artists are coming together, and it's a fusion of different styles, both of jazz, like if you think of Jack Holiday in the Blue House Band, he's more kind of a bluesy kind of feel. If you think of Tony Salamone, he's like more of a pop. Chaz Mazzotta is definitely, pop. I'm more kind of like a bluesy earth feel. And so all this amalgamation is creating a new style, what I would call a new school in Nashville. And I've kind of given it the name of Eclectic Roots Groove based on that complexity and mixture of the storytelling of Americana, the interesting chords of jazz, the rawness of blues, the energy of rock, and the beat of funk, or the love for rhythm. So Eclectic Roots Groove.
Now, how do you say being a producer and having your record label has influenced the way that you write your songs?
I would say the one thing that has influenced me the most is I took this class called Mastering.com with Blake LaGrange. He's a guy from New York. He's done mastered records for many well-known artists. And in taking the course, it was interesting because when you look at orchestration, or if you look at an orchestra, you have a complete balance of frequencies between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Like if you're looking at the double bass or the horn section, trombones, whatnot, it's a very low end. And then you have piccolos on the high end. And then all the modern, all the composers in the classical era, when they would orchestrate or write their music, they would write it with the balance of frequencies from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So now in modern day, when you learn to mastering becomes this kind of like a science where you are taking what was created and trying to create a balanced spectrum of frequencies from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So then you start to think, well, if that's the end game, then how do you write in a way that balances those frequencies? Like, for example, when you'll find when you're mixing, you might have a lot of what we call muddy in the middle, or 200 hertz, or a buildup of a particular type of instruments in the middle, and people aren't, when they're writing or orchestrating or arranging, thinking of that balance. So now I'm predominantly thinking about, how does that balance work, and how do you create a good blend of frequencies from the bottom end to the top end, and how you create.
That's a good way to think of things.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people getting into the Nashville music scene or getting into recording?
Yeah, I would say that it would kind of be 3 steps. One, kind of make sure that you know your craft. So like, do you know how to write a song and what makes a song interesting? It was a thing where Johnny Cash asked his daughter and said, do you know this song? And she said, well, no, I don't know this song. Well, how about this song? No, I don't know that song. Well, what about this song? No, I don't know that song either. So he said to her, you know what? you really need to have a good understanding of the history of music and where it's been. And then that also is a fascinating indictment against me. And what I mean by that is that I'm putting together this thing called Eclectic Groove Playlist. And in the process of doing that, every week I study a particular artist. And the reason it's interesting for me, and it's an indictment against me, is because all the way up to a certain age, I wasn't listening to other people's music because I thought, okay, the only way to be original is if you block out all other people's influences, which is ridiculous because you really are living on the shoulders of amazing artists in the past. So there's nothing wrong with stealing with pride, but putting your actual fingerprint on it and taking that forward. And you can only do that when you really study great music. So I think step number one for artists is to have a willingness to just learn and listen to a lot of music. And then there's a thing called takedown, where you actually break down the song and you say, okay, what is the structure of the song? How is it composed? What is the arrangement of the song? How is the melody there? And then really, study it. So number one, build your craft. Number two, I'd say for young artists is that they would treat it as a business. I mean, that it's a creative process, but it requires real discipline and real effort. I mean, when I listen to your story talking to your dad in regards to all the work that you've done and dedication of things that you've applied yourself and learning the craft and learning engineering, studying with some great teachers from Berkeley and studying drumming as well. I mean, you really have put in a lot of effort. And I think that is a key. It's if you want it to be a hobby, that's fine. And it's not to say that doing it that way is bad, but if you want to treat it seriously, or you want to make it, I think in the business, you have to treat it seriously and really love the craft and really apply yourself in that regard. So, one, discipline; two, treating it like a business and working through steadily. And three, I think I can't remember the name of the producer. He's a well-known producer. He has a long white beard and red sunglasses, and he sits in a lotus position. I think it's Levin is his name. But what he says is that when you write, at the end of the day, make sure that you're writing for what really is in your heart, because you are uniquely Trevor. I'm uniquely Michael. So if you're trying to pretend to be somebody else, it really comes off as being awkward, And so you should truly evaluate what it is that you want to say and how you want to express yourself and be true to that kind of that fingerprint, or the unique fingerprint that you have and what you can offer, because then people will see that as authentic and understand that, this is a person that has studied their craft, they understand the business, but they're also very, very authentic. And so I think that is critically important. And then the last thing would be truly do understand, because in the day of music where you either with Logic Pro or Pro Tools or whatnot, really take some time to understand the production process and what it takes to make it sound, good, and invest some dollars in doing that, because it will pay off. It will speed up in regards to efficiency and what you're able to do, and that you then have control of the supply chain of music, right from the inception of writing it to the end portion of producing it. Or then if you're moving along and people are acknowledging you, then you at least then be able to have the capacity to say to other people, no, I'd like you to do it this way and that way, and have a knowledgeable means of being able to express that. So,
And then, favorite song lyric that you've written?
Favorite song? Oh, that's tough. I mean, because there's so many. I mean, I'll just say there's one that's dear to me, that I actually did a retreat, men's retreat for 4 days, where you weren't allowed to talk and you just were kind of with yourself, and for me particularly with my faith, which is important for me. But the song goes, and it basically says, "You agreed," and the lyrics go, I ask of your existence. You ask where I've been. I ask why persistence in trying to reel me in. I ask why the suffering. You ask why the lie, the lying and evasion, the heart that tries to hide. You say that I'm your father, the one who loves you so, but then I try to hide to make you let me go. It's this idea that this battle in faith, where we sort of believe that he's there, but then we kind of run away, and he's persistently there to greet you. And if you're just honest to be with him, he'll greet you in the right place and put you on the right path. So, and then the last part, it says, I say I surrender. you say that you know. A long time when I said it, I said it long ago. A young boy who at bedtime with hands folded neat asked for you to love me so. You agreed. And so that's kind of a dear lyric to me. Now, I mean, I think also just the song of Move My Ship is also kind of relevant for me from the standpoint because I was very much involved in music, and then I fell in love with my wife. We've been married for over 35 years. And in the process of realizing that back in those days, they didn't have a DAW, they didn't have Logic, all the sorts of things that you could do on your own. And so I said, okay, I'm going to raise a family. I raised my 3 kids, took care of everybody, but then being able to come back to music and then Move My Ship is about diving into the dream that you really have always had and having the guts to be able to do that. I'm not young, as you can see, so to do that and to be dedicated at it and is a kind of, I think, is a unique story, but one that I'm enjoying. And yeah, it's been great.
Great. To close, anything that you want to tell the audience?
Be curious in music that is not mainstream. And what I mean by that is that just in my process of looking for artists that are not kind of like the ones that have, 1 million followers and whatnot, there's an incredible number of artists out there that are quite good. And you can do a lot to help them and support them. And then I would say to the audience, particularly maybe the musical art audience of songwriters, truly understand the leverage that you have by working together, where it's not a zero-sum game or a small pie, just like the amazing work that you're doing right now. And that's an example of that, where you are going out there, you're the Sounds of Nashville, you're reaching out to other artists, you are an artist yourself, and you're inviting people into your community and allowing them to be able to benefit from a platform that gives them exposure and that other people can be introduced to their music. And I think that more and more people, artists, if they were to leverage that. I mean, the whole notion of, for example, in business where you take out a bank loan, you can't buy the house because you don't have the house costs, say, $500,000, but you can leverage it by taking a loan and then putting 20% down and then allowing that house to be purchased. The same way in the music community, you can leverage one another by working in community with other artists and really making a point of not just, and I don't mean this in a bad way, superficially supporting them, but really sort of saying, I like this song, and then telling other people in the audience why they like this song, why it's important, what it is that that you should really check, Trevor Tobin out, because this one particular song is awesome. And to really elevate Trevor based on being in the community, or you can also look to another artist. And then for just general fans in general, that be curious about music out there that isn't just the main line, because you have a means of being able to, first of all, satisfy yourself and be a connoisseur of music, of something that you may not have thought about or about enjoying, but really dig in and find artists that you can support and enjoy, because they're kind of obscure and in the background. But by you searching them out and finding where the music is, you can do a lot in regards to just learning about music and what's happening in the community, but also benefiting the music community at large. So that would be my advice.
Great. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming out to the podcast and playing.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.